Hello, everybody. My name is Jenny from Senior Perspective, and I am here with a very special guest.
Who is it?
The feature, not a guest artist, the feature guest speaker?
Guest speaker, guest of honor.
Guest of honor? Okay, I like guest of honor. This featured guest of honor in a new series, and that is
Me, the son of the senior. Hello.
the son of the
Hi.
senior. And your name is?
I'm Zack.
Zack. I'm Zack. So funny. All right. Zack never talks like that. He's talking like that for all us 50-year-olds that he thinks we can't hear. Zachary, we're going to start this off at the very top. You're not aware of this, but I let my viewers know that this little series was beginning, and I asked for suggestions for a title for our series.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. I wrote down the names. Now, I will be honest, I didn't get through all of the comments today. So some of them might not be on here, and I'll send them to you. But you can tell me if any of them jump out at you right away,
Okay.
right here, right
Okay.
now. But I'm going to say I'm not going to make you commit. I was going to say on the live, but technically we're recording this.
This is a blue sky meeting. No ideas too out there. Yeah.
Exactly. Is that what that's called? A blue sky meeting?
Yeah, that the sky's the limit. It's like,
anything
yeah.
So it goes on for forever and ever.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, so let me go ahead and read through the suggestions that I have so far. Here we go. I have, in no particular order, I have marked down which are the most popular ones. Zack on Track.
Zack on Track. Okay.
Zack Pack.
Ooh, Zack. I like Zack Pack.
Back with Zack.
Back with Zack.
Zack's Back. At Mom's Behest. I do have to say that Kody used the word behest in the last episode. So, of course, I had to address it in the video and go, who says behest? Please tell me you've never used the word behest, Zachary, please.
Have I ever used the word behest? I mean, a lot of my vocabulary is used semi-ironically. It's not...
Jokingly.
Yes.
Yeah. You've never seriously used it in conversation.
No.
No. Okay. Thank you. Panic for a second. That being said, I did have people who said that they do use it, and they're like, I'm embarrassed to say we're a bunch of nerds and we say behest. I'm like, no, you know what? You're probably highly intelligent people, and this does not qualify Kody Brown. So this is very different. Somebody else said that she was a lawyer. And so I go, well, you know what? You use legalese. And if I had a lawyer's degree, I'd use behest too, just to show that I'm a lawyer.
The behest of the state. Yeah, I was watching Better Call Saul. I feel like they used behest a couple times.
There you go. He probably watches Better Call Saul. I was thinking that he was watching some Game of Thrones that day, and so he had to throw it in there.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. So you might hear some behests in here. Okay. Zack by popular demand.
Oh, that's nice.
Zack by behest. Zack by your behest. Because we love Zack.
Oh, that's just nice.
That's nice, isn't it? Educating Zack on Sister Wives. Sisters with the Mister. It made me laugh. Your son is not at our behest. At Zack's behest. Back by popular behest. Sister Wives Unpack with Zack.
Unpack with Zack.
Unpack with Zack. Oh, and then we had Talk Back with Zack, which is a nod to, in the Sister Wives series, last season, they did Talk Back episodes at the end.
Oh, okay.
They would watch an episode. They watched the first episode, all four of them, in back at home on television. They had their own cameras recording themselves, and they just commented and talked about it as they were watching episode 1 and then the season finale. So the first and the last episode. It would have been great for them to watch the whole series. I would have loved it. TLC knows, they have no idea how to make money. Honest to goodness. Will somebody at that channel come consult with me? Lordy. Okay. I am the voice of the people. I know. Oh, and I did have a recommendation. Somebody would like me to have you watch the series with a bunch of your buddies because they would like to see a reaction video of college guys reacting to Sister Wives.
That would be funny. Yeah. I could get a good chunk of the graduate computer science department to all watch.
Yeah. It would all be like, what? All right. Not Kody Brown's demo. Go ahead and mull on it. Any of them jump
Indeed,
out
yeah.
so far, but I will.
I like Zack by popular demand because
Okay.
it takes a bit. Because like
Mhm.
when the very split second you hear it, you're hearing Zack by popular, and you're like, what?
Mhm.
That doesn't, and then you're like, oh, that's the replacement.
I will
So,
say it's right now, it is tied for first place.
oh, what's the other one?
Back with Zack.
Oh, Back with Zack is also nice.
Mhm. But I haven't gotten through all the comments yet, so I will let you know the winner, but I did say I'd probably let you pick what your favorite one was at the end. Unless you'd pick one that only had like 2 votes and there were like 20 for this and 28 for that. And so, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about season 19, episode 1 today.
Got it.
It opens up with Kody reflecting. I don't have a picture of Kody here. I have Kody on Coyote Pass, but Zack, you know what Kody looks like because you just texted me the other day and said what?
As I was walking into my apartment, someone
Mhm.
had their window open, and I could see Cody's face on it, and I did like a double take because I'm like, oh my gosh, Kody is in that apartment, but I'm like, oh no, it's Cody's on the screen, and they're watching Sister Wives.
They're watching Sister Wives.
So two directly below me, 2 floors, they were watching Sister Wives, which is fascinating. Another example that
Yeah.
I just told a girl that I'm talking to right now. Her mom is really into Sister Wives. I
Ah.
mentioned like because it's a very fun conversational talking point when I'm
Yeah.
talking to people to say my mom has like a successful channel talking about a TLC reality
My
show
mom
of
is a YouTuber.
I know. I'm like that's it's so funny.
Is
Like it's great. It's a cool hobby. But it's funny to be like my mom is the YouTuber.
in our family.
Yeah. And then she was like oh my gosh, my mom loves that show. I'll tell me the channel name and I'll send her to it. So you're gonna get a new viewer soon.
Oh, well, that's nice. And then when we get off this live, you can tell me more about this girl we're talking to now. All right. Here we go. So it opens up with Kody talking about, and I'm going to look down. I apologize. Somehow my notes are not syncing with my Mac computer, so I'm going to use my phone notes. It opens up with Kody reflecting on the state of his family / marriages. And he said that he's estranged from a lot of the kids. He does talk to some of them. He has 18, so that's not a good sum. All right. I mean, he has 5 in his own house, so I don't know if he's counting those or not. He said that Christine and I don't talk anymore. And just to remind you,
Oh yeah, because at this point the family is in disarray as well.
right, Christine is the one who left at the end of last season. So she, unofficially divorced him.
Okay.
She used the words, "We are divorced." She left, signed off her rights to Coyote Pass. Coyote Pass is yours. The house is mine. We're going our separate ways. We'll work out a visitation with Truly. He went on to say, Janelle and I are separated right now. Meri and I don't say we're really in a marriage, but we are in a marriage. We don't say we're divorced, but I don't want to be in a marriage with her. But also, I'm not going to tell her I want to divorce her. Coward.
Right.
You
Okay.
know, he's just kind of stubborn that way.
Right. Yeah.
He also strongly believes that, according to him, he cannot tell a wife to leave. Now, he can. It's just, it's like a black smear on your record
Oh,
in
okay.
the church. But this is a church that he hasn't attended in 15 years and whose rules he doesn't abide by at all. I don't know why he really cares about that. It's very interesting that he really, because he cares so much about what everyone thinks of him.
Right.
That he just doesn't want any leadership in the church to announce to anyone in any way that he's done anything wrong, even though everyone can watch television, see he's done a lot wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so many times we say, does he not know those cameras projected out to the world?
Right.
Everybody can see what's going on. Like he really, it's confusing to us. The show opens up and we are at Coyote Pass with Robyn with her typical face. I will say that my individual photo of Robyn is this. Which wasn't her crying. So I thought that was being generous and nice of me. I could have gone way worse than this. I didn't. This was just a normal her talking. So here she is on the land with Kody. They're kind of reiterating for people who don't know, when they bought the land, they made a really bad decision and made a really bad deal. And that was, one, they couldn't start building on the land until they paid off the land. Also, they did a balloon payment on it. And if they don't pay it off by the day that it's due, they forfeit the whole land. Okay, it's only dumb. Yeah, it's dumb because they're dumb. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They didn't get a bank loan for it, probably because they couldn't get a bank loan. So they financed with the person that owned the land, who's at the mercy of these people. So he said, okay, here are my terms then. If it were my land, I'd do the same thing. You're not going to mess around with it. He already let them cut trees down and do stuff to the land, but they weren't allowed to build on it yet. Right. So as they're out there talking, Robyn's talking about where her house is going to go and maybe Janelle and Meri, and Kody's like, you think Meri's going to move out here? This is after the big fight when he broke up with her at the season finale of the last season, which was only like 6 weeks before they started picking up filming this season.
Oh, okay.
So it was not that long ago. She's like, well, she didn't say she wasn't going to. Sometimes I really struggle to know how much is that she's clueless and dumb and how much is it that she pretends. Right. I don't know. I really can't tell because she does seem pretty dumb at times. So I can't just say it's all her playing this act, because she does seem to be playing the long game in this whole family relationship. But sometimes I think, anyway. And then with Janelle, all she really knows is there was a big fight. But now the fight was like over 4 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Kody hasn't seen Janelle since then.
Oh, wow.
But Robyn just thinks they had a fight. She's like, well, you just go over, you just make it better. That's all. I'm like, he hasn't been over there in 4 months. Do you think that maybe this is a little bit more than just a regular fight? And he's not talking to any of her kids. Robyn, dumb as a box of rocks. Okay.
Meri.
We have Meri now, and Meri's talking, and Meri shares that when they moved to Flagstaff, Kody promised her when they moved there that this would be the beginning of a new relationship for the two of them. Now, mind you, they had no marital relations, since before the catfishing situation, which happened years before they left Vegas to go to Flagstaff. So basically almost when Robyn came into the marriage, because it was only a few years into the marriage when the catfishing thing happened. I'll have to map it all out and get all the years.
Full timeline, yeah.
Yeah, basically years since he's been staying at her house, been intimate with her. Because we're like, well, why would she move? It just seems like the two of them aren't together. We find out now. He tells her, why don't you move to Flagstaff with us, i.e. sell your house. We need the proceeds of your house to put a down payment on the land of Coyote Pass and be able to have rentals to put the family in until we can pay off Coyote Pass, which was never a priority of his because he's an idiot. And she always wanted to get back together with them. So she did. So she picked up and Even though her business was there and her friends were there and she loved it in Vegas, she moved to Flagstaff where she knew nobody and moved into a house by herself. And she only had one child, and her child was already off in college in another state. So she really had nobody because she was kind of on the outs with the whole family, which is a whole story that I don't even know the whole story behind. Someday I'll tell you. I still don't have all the details of it. A lot of hypotheticals, a lot of rumors. I can tell you lots of hypotheticals and rumors.
Right.
I hate to tell hypotheticals and rumors though. So
Fair.
Robyn was always her BFF all the way until this breakup at the end of last season, and still this season. Robyn has been her ride and die, really more die. I mean, because she's been forcing her to stay in this marriage. Robyn really didn't get along with the other wives, so I think she wanted Meri there as having somebody on her side.
Got it.
Okay. For 7 years, they're there in Flagstaff, and he finally officially breaks up with her on camera, which is what she kept saying she was waiting for. Apparently, he would say it when they didn't have the camera on, but he would never put it on camera because he didn't want to be the one to say it. He wanted her to say it.
Oh, right.
Now we cut back to Janelle. Janelle says that being separated for Kody for all this time, she's finding this new peace in life and she's just enjoying herself. She's just so happy.
So Kody initiated the breakup with Meri.
Yeah.
Who initiated it with Janelle? Like, or was it a mutual
Janelle.
sort of? So it was, that one was Janelle. And then who is the third one of the original three?
Christine.
Yeah,
Christine is the one that left him for sure.
And then she left him. Okay.
She left him. Technically, right now, Janelle is just separated from Kody, but she's the one that said we're separated. And she's the one that said, I don't see us getting back together. But she also said we're separated. She kind of said, we could go the rest of our lives saying we're separated. Again, they're not legally married on paper.
Right.
So she sort of just move on. So she said that she's very happy and that she decided that her relationship with Kody was over as soon as his relationship with her children became broken. And she realized that he would not move heaven and earth to try to repair it and reconcile with them. And she couldn't understand that, and she couldn't respect them.
Right.
Basically, she chose the kids over Kody. Most of them are older. She had one child still in high school.
Okay, I see.
So most of them have moved on, but he's just an arrogant
Yeah.
And when they get older and have opinions, doesn't go well. Yes, God forbid. Okay. And there's a lot of talking head interviews. Cody's talking head interview. I've been excommunicated from my own family. It's like, nobody's excommunicating you from anywhere. He's like specifically saying all these criteria as to what everyone has to do to reconcile with him, which is basically started off with approach Robyn first and apologize for anything that you may have done to insult or offend her. And they were like, nah, thanks. Then eventually he gave up on that. And he's like, well, just come and apologize to me then. And they were all like, no, we got nothing to apologize for. We feel you owe us an apology, quite frankly, for the way you've been treating us. So yeah, that's not going to go that way. Forget it. And then he changed it to, we just need to have a conversation, which everybody knew would eventually evolve into, you need to apologize to me in this conversation. So they were like, yeah, no, we're not going to be manipulated into that either. So until you come to us and say you want to make amends, I mean, he probably wouldn't even have to say, I apologize. He probably could have just said, can we get together and have a cup of tea and talk?
Right.
He couldn't do that. He can't humble himself, basically.
Yeah. It's so interesting, the framing from his perspective of like that they are the Catholic Church and that he is the one being excommunicated from the establishment.
Yeah.
It's very, very fascinating.
Yeah, very much so. He uses a lot of medieval terminology and analogies. Later on in the season, he refers to how now he needs to behave more like a knight, and he was the king before with his other kids, and that didn't work out well. So he'll be a knight with his other kids that he does still get along with. And, you know, it was just behest. Okay. Christine, in her talking head interview, said that she was very scared when she first left because she was 50 and on her own.
Right.
And she lived a very sheltered life. But, you know, she had a lot of support. If anyone was set up to be successful leaving, it would be these sister wives.
Right.
They have a lot of financial support, which would be able to pay for advisors and the support that they needed to be successful. And they all have family that can support them as well.
Yeah.
So they're all okay.
Definitely.
But she's now dating and loving it. So
nice.
Life is good. So then we move on, and Mykelti is one of Christine's daughters, her second oldest, I think. Aspen Mykelti, I think it's her second oldest daughter. And she is pregnant with twins. And so she's having what's called a baby sprinkle, which is a second shower.
Sprinkle.
Yes. Shower number 1, called a shower. Second shower for another child is called a sprinkle. This is something new. I don't think it's always for second. I think it's situations like this where we're now having twins. Okay, we're going to need a lot more stuff. Or everything we had was blue and we're having a girl. So at this baby sprinkle party, it's Mykelti's, and Mykelti is the bridge to both sides of the family. She loves to call herself the bridge.
Between Robyn and Kody and
everybody
else, the 3 originals.
Yeah. Well, not Meri, but Janelle, Christine, and the 12 kids, basically. Well, I mean, some of them talk to Kody. A few of them do, but most of them didn't. And Mykelti's the one who's trying to get the family back together again. That's not going to happen. Have you met Kody Brown? I don't think 10 licensed psychologists are going to be able to mend this mess. But she felt like she could, so she tried. I mean, but it's good that she kept a relationship with him. He is her father. That part I agree with. The sprinkle party, she invites everybody. Now, Christine says nothing to Kody and Robyn when they arrive. I don't actually know if she said one word to them the entire time. Eventually, she was in the same room with them. And as a bunch of people were all talking around an island, she would smile and listen. I wasn't really fond of that. I got a lot of pushback from people on that on my video. They're like, she could do whatever she wants to do. I'm like, she can, but I can also say it's rude. Everybody's allowed to do whatever they want in life. Doesn't mean it's not rude. It's still rude. She can say hello. There's a lot of people that defend. Anytime I say anything negative about anybody in the family. I mean, there's Robyn defenders, and I don't know if anybody's ever defended Kody. There's Robyn defenders out there that get upset when I say negative stuff about Robyn. I don't think I've ever had pushback on Kody, though.
Yeah, I've seen, because I did do a little bit of research, and some of the hot takes were that I could see were that Robyn gets much more hate than she deserves. Some people believe that Kody is the primary antagonist. Well, I think most people agree that Kody is the primary villain of the show, but that Robyn, they believe, gets too much. But yeah, I have not seen anyone who's hot take. Yeah. Kody should remain the patriarch. He had it going good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of patriarch, one episode he'll be like, I'm not the patriarch of this family. It's an equal. We all have equal say and everything. And then later on, he's like, I'm going to reestablish patriarchy so that we run things smoothly again here. You know, it's just sort of like, you never were, but you're going to reestablish it. And we're all over the map. But it's like following the bouncing ball, trying to follow things that he says. He contradicts himself all the time. All the time. It must be maddening having to live with the man. And then when you try to call him out on anything, he just gets majorly defensive and starts talking around it and changing the subject. But see, you know what? Robyn does too. I think both of them are narcissists in different ways. But that's for another time. Okay, so then moving on. Kody in a talking head interview is talking about Christine and Janelle. This is regarding, I think I have a photo of this to put up. There is a move. Christine is in North Carolina now because her daughter Isabelle was living there for a year with Janelle's daughter, Maddie. Now, Maddie is married and has 2 children and is expecting a third at this particular time in the series. For the past year, Isabelle was there. From all accounts, it was fantastic. Maddie said she loved having Isabelle there. She was a big help. It was great to just get bonded and connected with her and get closer with her again. I love how close the kids see each other as siblings, no matter who the mother was. That's what I like. Well, especially Janelle and Christine. It was a nice little scene. Everybody's all happy. Isabelle was saying how wonderful also it was to stay there. She went to college there just to kind of break away. She had a bad experience with her father, and she was always very close with her father, but her father refused to go to New York with her when she needed to have this curvature of the spine back surgery. We've been following it since she was about, 12, 14, like right around there is when
Oh, wait, her father's Kody.
Her father's Kody. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. For some reason, I didn't put that together.
Yeah. Her father's Kody. She got diagnosed with curvature of the spine when she was like preteen kind of age into her teens. And we'd been watching it for a while. And it was like around 30 in terms of the curvature of it, 30 degrees. They kept saying it's still okay. And if she could get to a certain age, that essentially it would stop, like past the growing stage and the curvature would stop, then she would be okay and not need surgery. But if it gets to 50, that's a definite, we need to do surgery. So when we were watching the show, it was always like around 30, 32, it was like sort of in that ballpark. Well, on the show, and Isabelle was complaining and just saying her back was hurting so much. This is now January 2021, and the pain was too much. And she couldn't take it anymore. And so Christine took her into the doctor and they did x-rays and she was over 50.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they said she has to get in to have this. It was the only thing that was going to make it better.
Right.
That was about April that they had the appointment, and then they scheduled it for September. Christine and Isabelle were telling Kody about it, and this was on the show. And Cody's like, well, why so soon? Like, we've been putting it off all this time. Why now? It's like, how dumb are you? Like, I can tell you that. I'm here in Ohio. I'm not even in your family. Because the curvature was over 50 now, and it had to stay under 50. And then it was a mandatory surgery after 50. Remember this? And she's still growing because she was still a teenager. She was like 17 or something like that at the time. He's dumb as a box of rocks. In the talking head interview, Christine's like, if he would ever come to our house and see our kids, he might know how much pain his daughter's in. Ooh, yeah, because he lives at Robyn's house and always has all these excuses for why he can't visit the other wives. So in the end, he just said, well, I just want you to know I can't go because I can't risk now with COVID. He was worried about Robyn's 2 younger kids getting COVID, and so he wouldn't go with Isabelle. Of saying to her, I have to protect my family. She's like, aren't I your family?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. She ended up going with Christine. She had the back surgery. After that, she ended up going to North Carolina for a year just to get away.
Right, yeah, don't blame her.
Which was good. It was good. Right after she graduated from high school. Producers told him on camera that Christine was getting Isabelle from North Carolina and bringing her back, and that Janelle went along with her. Now, Janelle's daughter was at the house, and Janelle's only grandkids are in North Carolina. So it would make logical sense that Janelle would go with Christine on this journey to go out there and then bring Isabelle back because she gets to see her daughter and she got to see her grandkids. And Maddie was coming back too with her to visit in Utah. Janelle's daughter. So the producers mentioned that they went to bring Isabelle back, and he's like, and she took Janelle with her? Just shocked. And then he started laughing, and he's like, for years they sang my praises, and now they berate me. Wait a second. Hold on, that's not it. That's another thing he said.
We can't keep them all straight.
I know.
He's spewing such nonsense. He's like an uncorked fire hose. We can't wrestle him down.
I know.
Does he have friends?
He has one friend that we see. I mean, he has like pseudo friends in the religion, sorta.
Maybe. Possibly. And can I get back to you on that?
Oh,
But we never see them like repeatedly. In fact, somebody even asked one of their daughters has a Patreon, and they said, "Does Robyn or Kody have any friends?" And she just kind of laughed and went, "Yeah." I'm like, elaborate. Because I feel like if they did, they'd be on the show. The only friend, and he refers to him as his best friend, is this guy named Nathan. And Nathan is married to Meri's sister.
Oh, okay.
So, and he's a polygamist too, but his other wife left. So he's a monogamist, essentially.
So Nathan's his brother-in-law?
Brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his brother-in-law, but it's also his best friend. So he has Meri to thank for that friendship.
Right.
But there's no other real friend that we see. We see him like call this one guy his friend, but he was a guy who he was going to go into business with and get, have a gym, but then that became defunct. And then we also never saw the guy again. And we see him meet up with old friends from like 17 years ago, or here's a friend I had in high school, that type of thing, this reconnect kind of thing. Because the show, I'm sure, is saying we need to see relationships.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think Kody has any. Okay. He says, they're moving Isabelle. So Janelle helped. Oh, how the tables have turned. Christine didn't want to live in the same house with the other wives because she had to walk on eggshells with them. And now Janelle is following Christine around like, oh, you're so awesome. And your life is so great. I was just like, he's such a child. Such a child. First of all, one thing doesn't have anything to do with the other.
Right.
Both can be true. That Christine doesn't want to live in one house with the other two wives because you do have to walk on eggshells when you have somebody else who's sleeping with your husband, this is wife too, in the same quarters. It is best to have your own space.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is weird and funky. The other thing is he's like, I can't, because he'll bring that up again. That's a theme he'll bring up this whole season. I can't believe they're friends now. They literally were not friends in like the first maybe 10, not that they didn't get along, but they weren't close for like the first decade of the marriages, just for your back history, because Janelle and Meri didn't get along. They were like oil and water from the get-go.
Okay.
He had problems.
Right.
So when they brought in Christine, Meri liked Christine, and the two of them would like flit around and laugh and all that. And Janelle is very quiet and reserved, and that Christine is very boisterous and loud. And Meri's very loud, kind of abrasive loud. Nevertheless, their energies matched more, and they were both young and immature and that. So they sort of, they got along. And so they just palled around. And Janelle admits, I was so happy. I could just retreat. I could be inside. I had the stress anymore of Meri coming down on me and screaming at me. You folded the towels wrong. You did this wrong. You put the dishes away wrong. Meri was very, and now Christine handled all of Meri's stuff, and she was, it worked out well for everybody.
Yeah.
And then there was a big fallout between Meri and Christine about a decade into the relationship. And at that point, that was the severing that never came back again.
Okay.
Between the kids and the wife. Now, they all made nice in public and on the show for the longest time.
Right.
Just everything kept coming out bit by bit.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, to the point that, because I kept saying, get over it. I still kind of feel that way. There's always a part of me that's sort of like, I don't understand. Help us understand. I don't know. But Meri has admitted that she's made mistakes in the past and that she was rough around the edges. So, and that therapy has helped her and that she's a different person now. But if people want to keep their distance, then she'll respect it. She's had a lot of therapy. Good therapy. I keep saying, I don't know who her therapist is, but I would love to see her therapist because I feel like she's so healthy now. At least comparatively.
Right.
Okay. At the sprinkle party, kind of going back there for a second, Kody was very nervous about going to the sprinkle party with Robyn because he said both Janelle and Christine were trashing him in the public. And so he could only imagine what they were saying to the kids. He has no facts to back this up, but this is a mantra that he will, in a platform that he will stand on forever and not get off of. He creates stories in his head that he can't let go of. And that's one of the stories that he talks to them. Because if you'll say this in public, what are you going to say to our kids? Well, nothing, because Christine really wants her kids to have a good relationship with Kody. And she says, even Robyn, at least she says it on camera. I don't know. But she wants them to have a good relationship. But because of that, he holds all this animosity towards these ladies now. And mind you, they are not trash talking him. All they are doing is responding to what's on the show.
Right.
So that's the funny thing about it, is that people ask them questions about things he does and says, and they share what it makes them feel like. And then he says they're trash talking him. It's really funny. What are they supposed to say? No, he didn't mean that. Like he wants them to become Robyn, who just defends him and has his back and denies that he ever does anything wrong.
Right.
Delusion.
Yeah.
Delusion. And they're not doing it. I mean, they never really did. But now that he doesn't have control of them at all, he's spiraling.
Do you want to hear the term that kids like to use nowadays?
Yeah. What is it?
Crashing out.
Crashing out. Okay.
I know. Isn't it evocative? It's a good phrase. Crashing out.
It sounds very Kody Brown too. I think I'll use that. Crashing out.
Yeah.
They're crashing out. He's crashing out.
Yeah.
So when he's spiraling, when he's like,
oh yeah, that's the perfect sort of, you're getting in your own head. You're becoming delusional. Yeah.
That's him. 100%. It's crashing out. Okay. All right. I'm going to be cool now. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Meri goes to Las Vegas to visit her friend named Brandy, who she's been friends with for a very long time. She shares with her that after 32 years of marriage, she is officially breaking up / divorcing Kody. And Brandy is so excited. And she says, it is about time. Here is a very interesting dialogue that I wrote down, though. Meri is sharing with Brandy that Kody has been telling her at the very end here, like during the breakup, after the break, like right around this whole time in private, not on camera, but he will tell her that he never loved her and that he felt an obligation to marry her, that he never wanted to marry her, which is not true. People who know them, when they got married, he was very much in love with her. They also said that when Kody came, he was like this blonde hair, blue-eyed guy in this very tiny faith of very few. There were slim pickings. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of guys, there's just not a whole lot of people in this faith. Yeah. So when he came into the faith at age 24, the women were like, he had his choice of women, and he fell in love with Meri. But he says he was just affirming that he loved her. That's how he explains his behavior. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either.
It's Kody talk, because he uses words. My best way to describe Kody is his language is using vocabulary that is adjacent to the appropriate word that he should be using. It's like, it sounds like it should be maybe correct, but not. I also say he speaks as if English is his second language.
It's like the billionaire from Glass Onion, how he uses terms that are slightly wrong, and that's like a clue to solving the murder later on. Like he starts off by saying like, let's just imbreviate this moment, and like he has a bunch of other terms like that, and then that ties into the murder mystery later of how the detective figures out the case. But it reminds me of that.
It's very Kody Brown. I don't understand your reference at all, but that's very Kody Brown. Is that a show, a movie, a book?
It's a movie. It's from if you new Knives Out. It was like
Knives. I saw Knives. Did I see Knives Out?
I think we watched it together, maybe.
I think I saw Knives Out, but I didn't see the second one. Yeah, I like Knives Out. I remember.
Yeah, but did we not watch it together?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn we did.
Maybe we did. We could have.
Maybe I didn't watch it with you. Maybe I watched it with someone else. But I
I think
definitely
I
watched it
watched it. I
at the
think
house.
Gabby was there, so maybe it was like at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then Meri says, why would a single man in his early 20s choose a single woman to marry who he doesn't love just to affirm her in marriage when he can choose anyone? Good question.
Yeah.
Cut to producers who are doing a better job this year, taking information and going back and forth. Cut to
Right.
Kody's head. He says, oh, Meri and her little accusations now. Okay. Cut back to Meri. How cruel is it that he would pick me out of a crowd and say, I choose you to affirm you and tell you that I love you for 32 years, but it's all a lie.
Yeah.
Cut back to Kody. Fine, she can say whatever she wants. I'm not going to comment on it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Which is what Kody often does when he gets caught.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. That's off the topic. That's off the subject. That's off the table. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
such a trying to, like, I guess cover your tracks isn't quite the right term, but the idea of like an inability to admit failure in a relationship where like it's normal to be like, oh, at a time I loved them, but then we fell out of love. Like that's a
Mm-hmm.
a grown-up thing to do. And so then to
Right.
look back on a multi-decade long relationship and be like, whole time I didn't love her. It was all fake the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
And to do it times 3.
Right.
Because he's not only saying it about Meri, he's saying it about Christine and
Oh,
Janelle as well.
that's wild.
Mm-hmm. But in this case, it was this particular conversation is just about Meri. But in general, who's like, I never loved any of them. I just love. See, the situation is his love for Robyn is different. It's kind of like you fall in and out of love with different girlfriends or boyfriends or whatever in life.
Yeah.
And then you meet one that's just different. And you're like, oh, okay. This is what it's supposed to really feel like. That was just lust, or that was love, but love not on a deep enough level, more superficial.
Yeah, I wonder if he could have just had a broadly normal life where he just dated them one after the other, and then for whatever reason they break up, and then he ends up with Robyn, and we could have avoided so much.
Yeah. Well, he said he wished he would have just met Robyn. He said that to one of the kids. It was really hurtful.
Yeah.
Especially because you can see on the show that he loved them, and people who knew them back then said he loved them.
Right.
Even Robyn says, listen, he loved them. Like, that's why I joined the family.
Right.
She's got her own issues, but still, she's like, if I felt like he didn't like them at all, I mean, she wanted to be top wife. She wanted to make sure that he wasn't like deeply in love with them. Yeah, she won. Okay. So that's how that conversation went. There was one more line that Meri threw in at the end when they were cutting back and forth between the talking head interviews. Fine, she can say whatever she wants. And then Meri said, I actually feel kind of sad for him if that's what he has to tell himself to justify that he and I are the ones that actually started this whole family. Why? Because Robyn was 10 years old at the time. 12, maybe. It's great. Later on in talking head interviews, Kody admits he has FOMO. This is really catching you up. This episode 1 is a big, episode 1 is a big catch you up on everything one.
Yeah.
And this, I think, was in reference to Janelle and Christine moving their child, Isabelle, from another one of their child's home with the other child together across the country back to Utah together.
Right.
They'll do anything to exclude me just as punishment to me. Robyn does her usual victimhood, which we get in every episode, really. It seems like I'm in an alternate reality. I don't understand this with Meri going. It's just she struggles with it, and it's all about Robyn and how this all affects her. She doesn't talk at all about Meri and how hurt Meri might feel and what she can do to help support Meri. You don't hear those words ever. I don't know how to let this go. And cut to Christine, who says, I just wish Robyn would let Meri go. Kody let her go a long time ago. I wish Robyn would let her go. Meri says she's not renewing the lease on her house in Flagstaff. She's moving to Utah to that B&B house that she has.
Right.
Meri was telling her friend Brandy that Kody's saying all kinds of weird stuff now, like he doesn't know if he even believes in polygamy because it's not fair to women. And then Meri said, well, maybe it's because he's not fair to women in polygamy. And then, of course, they told Kody that in the Talking Head interview. And Kody says, Meri said that. And he said, well, it's just as unfair to me because I didn't have a choice to get out and they all do. And he does it like with this like creepy little mouth. Makes her stand up on the back of my neck, which is untrue.
Yeah.
He could get out whenever he wanted. Instead, he tortured Meri for over a decade. That's better. That's better. Yeah. Brandy asks Meri, what about the land? And Meri says, oh, I'll get my parcel of the land. So then we cut to Christine, who says, I suspect that Meri and Janelle will not get their fair share of the land. I'm just saying.
Oh.
She hopes they do, but she doesn't trust Kody, to be fair. And then Meri defends Robyn, as she has since the day she entered into the family. I don't believe Robyn has a bad heart. Many in the family do. It's hard because in the beginning, she's always had my back and she's always been supportive. And Brandy told Meri that she feels that Meri's letting him off too easy because she's not like really mad. She's not saying angry stuff. She's like, I'm just moving. Here's all the mean things he's saying about me. She'll share that, but she doesn't. And this is what I think about him. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And Meri said, I'm not going to be a jerk. I'm not going to say mean things about him. Give him time. Wait till you hear his Talking Head interviews. Wait till the season comes out. That might change.
Yeah.
And then Brandy said, I'm ready to burn pictures of him. And Meri's like, I'm not. All right. Mm-hmm. Later on in the season, we see her demolishing other things of his.
Yay.
And Brandy does point out, I don't think you realize that Tim, which is her husband, would never speak to me the way that Kody speaks to you. And Meri just kind of looks at her like, oh, sort of one of those. And she tells her, you're better off now. You're good. Yeah. And that kind of summarizes everything. The only thing I missed was the fact that Janelle's daughter, Maddie, the one who has the 2 kids, the update on that was simply that Maddie is not in conversation with either Kody or Robyn at this point, and that she doesn't intend to be until Kody is willing to be a constant and present figure in her children's lives.
Right.
Showing up whenever, not showing up, not being reliable. She doesn't want that for her kids, the unreliability of it. So, and we did find out, and this isn't a future episode, but just to kind of give you a framework, her daughter, which is her second child, Kody was there when she was born. He hasn't been there since then, and she's 3 years old at this point. So for 3 years, he didn't go to North Carolina. And he has the comment on that episode of, well, when you move across the country, how do you expect? Like, it's not around the other side of the world. And even if it were, I'd see my grandchild within the month.
Right.
So he just doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. She's only in North Carolina. Not that far away. So this is the state of the family. This was an episode of a lot of little pieces and kind of seeing where everybody is and how they're doing, who's kind of moving on. And it seems like Janelle's moving on. Kody doesn't really understand because they're not talking to each other. Meri is officially moving on. And she did say in this episode, so I am now going to go to our church to get a release from Kody. An official release, because now he has said on camera, so I have proof that he does not want to be in a relationship with me anymore. She can use that now to go to the church and say, I want an official release. But she said it's going to take some time to do that. So that's her plans. And Christine's just planning on living in Utah and dating and she was bringing Truly once a month down to Flagstaff. Kody visited a couple times up at Utah, but I don't think very much at all.
Interesting.
So it was basically up to Christine to bring Truly down to
Right.
see her dad. And that's where we are. Is it too confusing to you with all these different names? Or are you?
When it starts to get to the grandchildren, because there's a lot of them, that's when I start to sort of have to be like,
Oh, the
okay,
children, you mean? There's only because I didn't really talk about grandchildren. Maddie has 2 grandchildren, but I didn't mention them. These are all children, like
Right. Sorry.
Isabelle and
Yeah.
Maddie and all of them.
Yeah. Sorry.
They're all children.
Yeah. All the children.
Yeah, all the children. I get it. There's 18 of them.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm getting the grasps on the main one.
Okay. What I can do too is get a picture to put up of like each family.
Oh yeah.
And then I can have them like have a number over each of their heads. So I can put up like the family picture, because then you can also see the kids in relation to which mom they go to, and then which kid they are, because I'm not going to be able to have 18 individual pictures here to put up. Had the internet not gone out, I would have kept putting up the pictures of the wives' faces. But hopefully, I think it's just the winter storm that kept making the internet go down.
How long do you give Robyn and Kody's relationship? Do you think it's going to last?
I do not. I think Robyn never wanted to be the only wife. And she said that. She always wanted to be a plural wife. I think Robyn likes to be top wife. I think Robyn loved the competition of it all.
Right.
To get to be the number one wife. And I think Kody enjoyed it too. How much time could he spend with Robyn away from the other wives? Like, I think they both enjoyed the whole game of it all. And I think Kody's going to get very bored with Robyn, because she's kind of like watching paint dry.
Right.
So the cute young thing is not going to be so exciting anymore. Plus, she's kind of patinaed at this point. Whereas the other wives all got glow ups as soon as they left Kody. It's interesting how Robyn is aging quickly. She just looks drab, tired, exhausted, depressed, frumpy. I mean, just all of it together. And the other wives all of a sudden look like they took a decade off their lives as soon as they left Kody.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think the weight of his presence gone has really been huge for them.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't think I think it'll last for a while. It's going to last as long as there's a television show, because Robyn loves money. I mean, that's how she came into this family. That's a whole separate conversation, but she would never be in this family if it weren't for the television show.
Right.
She would have found another guy who had money, because they didn't have money before the show.
Right.
So when the money dries up, she'll be gone. So yeah, so there you go. This was fun.
Yeah.
Did you notice I put an orange color around for your school colors?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Thank you. I did notice. Yeah, I noticed the outfit. I appreciate it.
Yes, which looks red in this picture, but it's when I look down at it, it's orange. I'll get it fixed. Is this red or orange? Oh, see, that looks orange.
Yeah.
It is a different shade of orange.
Yeah.
You let me know. I can send you the name of those. I know that we are leaning towards Zack by popular demand.
Yeah.
Which I think is a cute name. And we'll have this, and then we'll find a time I will work really hard at streamlining how much I talk to, because I want what I'm going to try to do is bullet point what happened and then come up with questions for you too.
Oh, okay. So
that you can give me your 20-year-old male input, especially when it comes to Kody.
That's not how old I am.
No, I know you're 21. But I mean, the 20s.
Oh, I see.
I meant, yeah, I'm aware.
I'm used to Dad, where he'll be like, "You're an adult."
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Right.
Dad wouldn't know.
That's
fair. That's fair. You're talking to your mother right now, the one that birthed you. I know how old you are. Yeah, no, I meant like the 20s.
Yeah, I see.
The 20-year-old, the 20s opinion on Sister Wives. That apartment down 2 below, do you think are those college students or are those people in town?
I don't know.
Okay, you didn't see who was in there. Probably be creepy if you tried to peek in the window, so fair enough. Okay, just curious, who's watching Sister Wives? No questions?
Nope, none thus far. I'm interested to see where this goes.
Are you really? Or are you saying that for me?
A little column A, little column B.
I love you, Zachary.
I love you too.
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, it is fun.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for saying it nonetheless.
No, it is.
All right. I apologize. I did so much talking in this one. I'll scale it back next time, but I really wanted to make sure you had a good framework of who they are and where they're from, because we only did 2 episodes that covered the first 18 seasons.
Right.
I wanted you to make sure you really understood what's going on. And maybe that'll help other people who haven't watched much of Sister Wives in the past.
Yeah.
Okay. Until next time, when Zach comes back, take care, everybody, and we will see you next week with another episode.
What's
Something with
this
Zach.
called again? Zack is back? What was it? Oh no.
It could be Zach is back. I don't. You get to tell me the final one, whatever it ends up being when I post this.
Oh, Zack,
because I'll have to
Popular
make
Demand.
the thumbnail and the
That's
title.
yeah.
So you have time, because I'm finishing editing this past week's video. So you have a few days to think about it. Back with Zach and Zack by Popular Demand we had the most I don't want to say votes, because I just told people, what do you want? And so I was reading what people were writing, and then I was just tallying and writing it down. And the most people wrote those 2, although they're all good.
True.
Well, a lot of them made me find there were a lot of BS.
Yeah.
A lot of them made me laugh. Zach's back at Mom's BS. A lot of people wrote them just to make me laugh, I think.
Right.
All right. I love you.
I
shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I'm not saying goodbye to you. We're going to say goodbye to everybody else. Okay.
All right.
So signing off. We'll see you all next week. Back with Zach.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Cut it off there.
Alrighty.
All right. Good job, Zach.